And I've been to a lot of places, bro, but I am floored already with just how y'all do things already. Hey y'all, this is Billy from Perma Pastures Farm, and I'm here with some pretty awesome people that I think the good Lord has led us to. There's a whole story in about all that. And folks, unless you're under a rock, or probably a lot of people that watch us watch them, this of course is the Max, Colby and Misty, down here in Mississippi, this is deep south. And it's a real pleasure to be here, folks. I mean, it's mind-blowing because you can't possibly convey how much y'all got going on here in your videos. If y'all put a video out every day, I don't think y'all could cover all that you got going here at all. Just, briefly, so everybody out there can, take as long as you like, actually. What all of y'all got going here, because it's probably going to take 15, 20 minutes for y'all to get it all out.
Well, of course, we just, we were talking about the dairy extension and how Colby milks every morning. So we have a dairy herd and we have a beef herd. So that's two major things on the farm that are
we center our farm probably around our cow, and then from there we've learned to supplement cattle with everything else going on. So that comes down to your chickens, your turkeys and ducks, but then the sheep and the pig play a vital part. The pig and sheep become a maintenance for us, and then we can supplementally use them too. So they clean our fields up, they grass cut, they mow underneath the trees. And we've really enjoyed growing into the bees, the pigs, and the sheep as well.
Yeah, and then the gardens, of course, y'all saw a lot of how we do the tarps, the silage tarps on the gardens, a lot of the raised beds. The greenhouse is a huge thing, here on our homestead. And then we've really tried to focus on bringing that edible landscape in and not focus as much on growing things that are pretty, but to really grow everything that we plant that's something that we can eat.
What I find astonishing, there ain't just one thing, but it's amazing how y'all have it seems to encompass a little bit of permaculture, a lot of permaculture actually, just based on where your things are located in the zones. Now, for a lot of people getting into this, I talk about zones all the time and having things in the right place because it just makes life easier for you. Right. Do y'all find it that way? Because I noticed your chickens are right next to the garden, which makes real good sense. Right. Has placement of your animals meant a big difference in terms of how things operate?
Absolutely. We keep our dairy cows, for the most part, stay in zone 1, zone 2. A lot of the big pastures are not meant for the dairy. They may go out there for a little bit, but they come back in the evening. Same way as we talk on the other side with the kitchen gardens in zone 1, the layer chickens in zone 1. Anything that's just pick and eat or quick picks, they tend to be all right here in zone 1.
We were talking about moving the tomatoes, things that we have to, a little bit more tedious and stuff, closer to us.
And then zone 2, zone 3, and even past that, that's where our sheep, a lot of our BAB, our secondary BAB area, and then our pigs are. They're low maintenance. We move them every other day or every third day. But again, it's one of those things that I don't really worry about them being out in the pasture or out in the fields, because we've trained them in zone 1 to then be okay in zone 3, 4, and 5.
Now, am I crazy when I tell people pigs are easier to keep than chickens?
They're actually
less maintenance?
Absolutely.
They are.
Truly, chickens, I get the point I tell her all the time, I can get rid of chickens.
Any day of the week. Yeah, as a fellow butcher, the thing I love about at least the bigger animals is that to achieve the kind of meat that I'm going to get off a pig, I got to butcher 40 chickens.
That's right.
That's 40 different lives I got to deal with, where I can just sit here, work with.
That's right.
Now, I'm going to ask you that. I want to get to both of y'all, but I got to know, because every time I watch y'all's videos on the meat smoking and stuff like that, where did you learn? Because I'm trained as a butcher. Where did you learn? Because honestly, I put you up based on what I saw. Where did you learn all that? How did you learn to butcher?
The only thing we've done is just read, watch, and try to pick it up over time. So
YouTube really is the main thing. Deal, it really is, and that's why I guess we would say
helped me a tremendous amount.
Right. Go into other people that have that knowledge, and that's why I would say that's what inspired us to do this YouTube thing, is because there's so many people just in our community. Like, we're speaking at a local nursery doing a seminar just this weekend. because there are so many people that would come up to us in town and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or, hey, you know, ask us questions about this, or how would you do this? And, you know, so that's kind of what inspired us to do this whole YouTube thing, is to share what we do and what we've learned, because we, in return, on things that we might not know about, we weren't raised butchering pigs, you know, we weren't raised learning how to smoke the meat, is to go to those channels and places that do know and gain their wisdom, because it's a community thing. It's like a community sharing thing. And I think that's really cool.
I got to ask, just because I know walking around, you were walking with Michelle earlier and me with Colby, and I was wondering, it probably drove him crazy because I couldn't believe, and I'm not saying it on camera here, I said it more than once, I can't believe how much y'all do with all you got going on, because as I understand it, you homeschool.
I do.
And you got to get all the domestic things done. You got a regular job in town and still get up at 4 a.m. to come out here and milk. And then you got your oldest boy who's out here helping. I guess
he does.
He does a lot of heavy lifting. He cracks me up, by the way. Me and her were laughing last night watching him with your what was it, cornbread video. He's sitting here looking at the camera like, man, I don't know what y'all want out of me, but I'm doing what she told me.
He's a big help. We really couldn't do it without him. I mean, you know, because Colby does work full time, and because I have smaller children too, you know, with the baby, there's a lot, you know, if she's hungry, I have to stop and I have to tend to her, you know, first and foremost. So without, you know, getting him, hey, run out and turn this water on, or hey, run out and do this, it's just an extra set of hands. And, you know, not only that, but it's training him to learn responsibility. And that's
life skills.
Right, life skills. Not only, you know, he's not going to grow up learning how to play video games all day long. We want him to to grow up and to get out and to learn, hey, if my boss tells me to do this, that's my responsibility to do it and get it done and do it the best I can. And, you know, that's so this is part of his training, you know, teaching him to grow up and be the best that he can be.
Looks to me y'all are training him to be his own boss. I mean,
that's a good skill to have.
Yeah, something that nobody's ever taught.
So we have daily people come in and buy milk or buy eggs and things like that.
Is it hard for y'all to move product? Like when we lived in this little place in Texas, and if I told you the name of it, you probably couldn't even find it on Google. There was a mindset, at least in that part of Texas, that why would I spend more money for what you got when I can go to the corner grocery, go get the same thing? Do y'all have any of that problem here where folks are?
I love, my goal is to learn to market what makes a difference. So here, because everybody raised conventional chickens and conventional eggs, you're not going to buy my $5 or $6 a dozen organic eggs versus someone selling $2 of conventional dozen eggs. So for us, eggs may not do good only to certain people, but we do know that raw milk is not something you can get here. And actually, again, it's in our state, it's not something that we sell. We just voluntarily give it. If they want to give to the farm, they can. But we know that's available. Honey, you can't buy raw honey here except for one other apiary that's really big. So we have a lot of clients who know we don't supplement feed our bees. They get no sugar water, they get nothing. So they're getting what's off the land, and it's good honey. We leave the fall flow for them to eat on, and then we take spring flow. So we have a good honey clientele that's willing to pay for, you know, the honey that they're getting versus supermarkets or some of the other apiaries around. So we try to market what we know it's going to do well. And for instance, when we do chicken butchering, we put it on social media here and say, hey, come learn how to butcher a chicken. And you'd be surprised, in an area that's not got 10,000, 15,000 people, we'll always get 5, 10, or 15 that want to come and learn that. Then what they're doing is they go home with our organic chicken. We give them a chicken to go home with, or 2, or however many, and they'll go home with livers and gizzards and all that. But then they realize, wow, there is a difference in quality. They're always coming back. So then they become a buyer from us on everything, because then they start believing in our product, just like the soaps and all.
So the people that say this can't be done in certain communities, you're proving that ain't exactly true.
You just need to learn your community and find out what they're wanting. We have a market, a local fresh market, every Friday here during garden season and during fall season, during Thanksgiving. My corn or my greens or my lettuce may not bring a lot of people to the table because you have so many conventional farms, they're selling that. However, my honey, my soap, Misty's lotions and sunscreens and those goods that are holistic and organic that people can't buy anywhere else. They come to us for those kind of things. So we learned we may not sell our tomatoes because our Cherokee purples may not do anything to these reds. However, our soap may do a lot better because they're not going to buy zest from supermarket.
Now you might as well just put me in the middle of a York peppermint patty commercial when you mentioned Cherokee purples.
Man,
those are my favorite tomatoes of
Yep.
all time.
Yep.
Now they don't do good, or at least maybe you and Misty know about it. They've never done good in sauce and making sauce, but when it comes, you want to put a sandwich together.
Absolutely.
There ain't nothing better on the planet. You agree too?
Absolutely.
There is no better tomato.
Fresh
in
bacon,
my view.
fresh bacon.
Oh.
You gotta have mayonnaise. You gotta have salt,
Yep.
pepper. Then throw the Cherokee purple in there.
Yep.
Ready to go.
I ain't ever. Yeah. Okay. So I knew we had a lot in
Yeah.
common. I just didn't realize Cherokee purple too.
So anytime you talk about making money off our farm, I think it's all about what you're trying to sell. So for instance, we raise heritage breed hogs and conventional breed hogs. Conventional breed hogs here, they're a dime a dozen. Nobody wants a conventional breed hog except for at butcher. So we'll sell those at market size for butcher.
Mm-hmm.
Our heritage breed sell as pets before they're ever meat. So they become a pet to a lot of people, and they sell for astronomical amounts
Really?
compared to conventional pigs.
Oh, the day.
So they'll sell for quadruple what these will sell, those conventional hogs will sell for right after weaning. So I have no value in those other than selling them after weaning. So that's the way we make money off our hogs that basically pays for every bit of food
Oh, the day.
that those eat.
Oh, the day.
So it makes it where that covers that.
Let me ask you this on a butcher side of things. When you process that pig, I saw you do online, which by the way, folks, he's a little too modest because I'm telling him that
Mine's
he's cutting
nothing
this
like
thing
his.
up.
No, you're
Well, I
really
was
a lot
cutting. Yours actually looked a lot better than mine because I didn't cool it off. But yours, you let it cool off, and I'm like, he's clearly had some training somewhere. I didn't know it was on YouTube.
Right.
But it goes to show what can be learned
Yeah.
in some of these different learning modalities if you use it that way.
That's right.
I gotta ask because people think I'm crazy when I say this, but I think the best tasting pork I've ever had in my life was an American guinea hog.
Yep.
And it still is. Have you ever had the opportunity to eat one of them, or
Yeah,
you
so,
always?
the person we got ours from, a local farm, we were able to eat some of theirs. It's very red. It brings a lot of lard, and it also marbles the meat almost like beef does.
Yes.
Now, one thing I've learned is comparable to a supermarket, pork, even our conventional hogs, our Yorkshire,
Light years better.
so much better. You can eat the fat and actually enjoy it. It tastes like meat. It's a delicacy. And again, it's more of a red meat on the pork chops. You see she's getting a little fussy.
Aw.
It's definitely better quality meat. So you can't, I have to show people that and I have to let people taste that before they ever really believe what I'm saying. But when you eat our ham, we had a ham, a big family event just about 3 weeks ago, and they were just, goggling over this ham. Never knew it was mine. Didn't say it was mine until it was all over.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
they're like, man, that ham's so good. Where did you get it? Well, it was off farm, and we cured it, we smoked it and everything, and it blew people's mind.
And I
It was
love
so
that
much fun.
video, which, by the way, I'm glad you showed me that. I'd like to take another look at it, possibly, of your smokehouse over there because, A, it's fantastic, but that is a cold. You use it primarily as a cold
Cold
smoke.
smoke, that's right. We can do,
How low can you get it?
well, I can get it usually, if I'm doing bacons or something, 110, I don't get any higher than 110. That's usually indirect
right.
smoke only. Now, if we're doing, like, for instance, the pulled pork, or we're doing a ham to cook it, we'll go and do that direct heat, put that in there, so I'm getting the smoke from indirect and getting the direct heat from that. One thing people do a lot of times is they'll build this smokehouse, and then they'll put a butane burner in there to make direct heat. Now, it's more work to put a fire in there, but the whole purpose of keeping it
But you're-
healthy is to not put butane all the way on your meat, too.
Well, and
for
also
6
if you're
hours.
taking out some of the natural moisture.
That's right,
You're
exactly.
taking moisture out with butane that you would
right.
never get out had it been a wood fire.
Absolutely. It makes
So
a huge difference.
that's right. And the flavor is extraordinarily different.
Oh, yeah.
What a joy that was. Gotta say, folks, I didn't know what we were gonna see when we went there, but it exceeded anything I could have ever imagined in terms of what a couple of people can get done. So it was a real honor and a pleasure to be there. They even gave us a little bag with a couple of t-shirts in it and some soap. I mean, awesome things. Can't wait to see those folks again. But folks, check them out because they are really a treasure, and they're doing some really cool and astonishing things there. So Hope this stuff helps, folks. This is cool when we can go out there and cross-pollinate with one another. So until next time, this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion. We'll see you next time.